on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
As we continue to learn more about the path that led to the shooting in California, the nation is growing increasingly on edge, some standing together in Fargo today. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Krista Boehm. Questions of gun control revolve around this act of terror in California, and the president announced today he will address the nation tomorrow night on terrorism and how the United States will combat the threat. Protesters at 2nd Avenue and Broadway chose to stand with Planned Parenthood amid the gun violence seen nationwide, opposing the use of guns to attempt to stop mass shootings. But a local conceal and carry instructor says he's actually seen a spike of interest in carrying this year in light of the attacks. Although their views are different, they both want a solution.
I don't think there's an easy solution. I think there are lots of pieces to the puzzle that we need to look at and lots of little things that we need to do.
I don't see that any of the legislation being proposed is going to cause anything to change.
Rowe adds that just in this last week, he has taken 4 calls from those expressing their interest in obtaining a conceal and carry license since the San Bernardino mass shooting. And today, ISIS leadership responded for the first time to the attack in California that left 14 dead and more than 20 wounded, while investigators continue to search for a link between the couple responsible and any known terror groups. Jay Gray has the latest tonight from California.
As a memorial grows outside the Inland Regional Center, so does the terror investigation in San Bernardino.
The investigation so far has developed indications of radicalization by the killers and of potential inspiration by foreign terrorist organizations.
Today, ISIS called Saeed Rizwan Farouk and Tashfeen Malik supporters and hailed them as martyrs, but stopped short of claiming responsibility for the attack.
We know that ISIL and other terrorist groups are actively encouraging people around the world and in our country to commit terrible acts of violence, oftentimes as lone wolf actors.
President Obama continues to get daily briefings on the investigation that includes hundreds of federal agents across the globe searching for any contact Farouk or Malik may have had with known terror organizations.
Shock, disbelief.
While at home, family members say there were never any signs the couple was plotting the deadly rampage.
No, not at all. I mean, I had absolutely no idea that they were involved in anything like that or that they were even capable of doing something like this.
Now, federal agents want to know if they had any help while this grieving community searches for a way to heal. Jay Gray, NBC News, San Bernardino.
It turns out that 2 of the guns used in the attack were purchased by a friend of Syed Farouk. Law enforcement officials say the man was unable to tell them when and how they were given to the couple. They say he is too emotionally distraught to provide that level of detail. Meanwhile, there's been another report of a terror attack in London. A man stabbed 3 people at a tube station today before police subdued him with a stun gun and made an arrest. Police say they are treating the stabbing as a terrorist incident. A witness says he saw a man led away in handcuffs by police, saying, quote, "This is for Syria." One man sustained serious but non-life-threatening injuries. 2 others suffered minor injuries. An eerie site in Cheyenne, North Dakota, where crews will be out all night monitoring a fire that they plan to let completely burn the town's former school. It's been a long day for those in Cheyenne, where flames have destroyed a part of their history. Cheyenne is located about 120 miles west of Grand Forks. There are just over 200 people who live there. Their memories and emotions have been sparked by flames. Knowing the Cheyenne school is a total loss. Crews have been out since 11 this morning, working to at least keep the flames away from the Open Season Lodge and Event Center, which is attached to the school. The mayor of Cheyenne says the school closed around 8 years ago, so no one was inside. The lodge attached was also empty. That business will deal with heavy smoke damage, but should be okay. The fire started in the attic, where crews believe old wires sparked the flames. Residents were safely evacuated and will have to stay elsewhere this weekend after a fire started in a retirement facility in Castleton. The fire was confined to just 1 apartment in the kitchen at the Castlewood Retirement Center. 19 residents were evacuated safely and moved to Central Cass schools to stay warm while crews worked to clear smoke from the building. They'll stay with family until Monday just to make sure all the smoke gets cleared. There's about $35,000 worth of damage. A reminder to be sure and tune in to 60 Minutes tomorrow night on KX. Producers for 60 Minutes tell Valley News Live they'll profile the Andrew Sadek case in a story that looks at the world of drug informants. Sadek was an informant for a drug task force when he died. His body was found in the Red River with a bullet wound to the head and wearing a backpack full of rocks. Leslie Stahl will head up the reports on law enforcement's controversial use of young confidential informants in the war on drugs. The two-part episode will air exclusively Sunday on KX4 in the Fargo-Moorhead Market. Hundreds laced up their shoes and put on their Santa hats for the Jingle Bell Run today. Run or walk, it was all for a great cause. From Santas to elves or those decked out in tutus, they all jingled their way to raising money for the millions of people affected by arthritis. Before the running even started, the event raised nearly $24,000 with a goal to raise $53,000. And remember, you can share any events you're interested in with us on our Facebook page. You can also follow the latest news, weather, and breaking news updates anytime on your feed. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you can stay informed throughout the whole day.